working with people and myself, because I'm a person, a lot of us come to meditation to manage our emotions. And that's because our emotions dictate how we experience the world. Of course, we use them to understand ourselves, and we use them to understand the world around us. And that includes understanding other people, or attempting to, in our relationships with them. And if we had no emotions, our life would be much blander. But when we can't be open to our emotions and feelings, our experience is much more challenging. And we can feel like we're really suffering. And that's because sometimes those emotions and feelings feel like they're an outsider maybe attacking us, or at least that's how our brain perceives it. And I know you're all people, so you've all had this experience of having strong emotions and feeling like you're sort of under siege a little bit. And so what our brain does is say, oh, these emotions are causing us suffering and they must be defended against. Um, and what practice is what practice asks of us is to learn how to be open to all things, and that includes those emotions. And this is a pretty tall order. As we know, opening to love and happiness and good feelings and things we perceive as positive is easier for most of us. And then opening to sadness, loneliness, anger, confusion, doubt, these things are not as easy to be open to. So one of the reasons we might meditate is to give ourselves the capacity to do this, and with the hope that over time we can relax into the experience of all our emotions. And the real result we're looking for is that we are not overtaken by them. We're not flooded. We're able to interact with them in a meaningful way. And the reason meditation is important is because in the present, we can handle all of our emotions. In the present, we can handle all of our emotions. The memories of the past and traumas stored in our consciousness are the things that give us trouble. And that's why we're unable to open to these more difficult things sometimes. And what all the great meditation teachers tell us is that if we can just let our emotions come and go, and even the hard emotions float in and out of our consciousness, we can know ourselves more, and we can know ourselves in our fullest capacity. And what the promise is that that is going to bring more joy, happiness, bliss into our life. If we accept all that, then the question is, well, like, how do we do this? There are many, many meditation techniques, in many ways, ideas of how to accept these things, and such amazing little bits of philosophy by great teachers that can inspire us. But a really important one in terms of being able to be in present with these emotions is having a felt sense of embodiment, a felt sense of being in the here and now. And that sense needs to be felt. So felt is the biggest word. So a felt sense that we are in the present, not the idea, but the actual experience. And the good news is the more we practice that, generally, the more we're able to do it, like most things. And then when we are confronted with more difficult challenges in our life, which includes almost always difficult feelings, we can use the sense of embodiment to bring ourselves back into the present, and not ignore those feelings, but instead relax into them and understand what they're trying to tell us. And when we do that, we can now see what's at root of these really, really difficult emotions. Usually it's something like fear or possibly desire. And when we see these roots, we can work with that part of ourselves because we know ourselves more. And when we're able to do that, our relationships flourish because they're less encumbered by the confusing, unpresent swirl of emotions that we can experience. But instead, we're getting insight from those emotions. And when we have that insight, we can make better choices. We can experience our kind of natural freedom because we are making choices. And there's one more thing that comes along with that, which is kind of a popular theme in all meditation traditions, which is a natural compassion that comes along with it. So we find ourselves being more compassionate to ourselves and more compassionate to the people in our lives. So for me, this is a really good reason to meditate. I've definitely experienced, all of these things like all people, but through my meditation practice, I've also experienced the ability to find the present again and the sort of gifts that that brings. So today we're gonna sit with these things in mind. We're gonna do three meditations, and the first one is a body-based meditation, really scanning our body, which I know most of you have done things like that before. It's kind of our prep work, like remembering we have a body, being in the present with our body, maybe our breath, things that kind of elude us when emotional states arise sometimes. And then we're going to do a meditation, a heart-based meditation to um, kind of shake some sticky emotions up. It doesn't, I'm not going to guarantee that's what's going to happen to you today because we're all individuals, but we use this in the course, we use this samskara release meditation to kind of let things flow in the body emotionally. And so there's no real instruction with that, like what you're supposed to feel or anything, but that's what it's for. And as we do that, one of the points of that is to relax into that flow instead of resisting it. And then we're going to end with finding our natural felt sense of prana. So we're going to end with a meditation that does that. Finally, as you sit, if things move and come up for you, uh, when you're sitting in a group like this, even though we're online, we are here together and we kind of hold each other a little bit. It is much easier to meditate in groups. So just know that you have a bunch of friends here, if you look around on your screen for a minute, that are doing the same thing at the same time and are, interested in this idea of all of us, experiencing these things, knowing ourselves more, and hopefully collectively making the world a better place. So here we are together doing this, and I'm happy to be doing it with you. So thank you for coming again.